Deep buzz in the air reverberated from the computer, the booming sound making the brown-coated mirror on every screen sound like an angry goddess. For all I knew, she could be just that. I had no idea what the machine she was linked to had done to her. I didn't even know if this was the mirror I'd actually seen in the memory addressing us, or just some malevolent program. I stepped away from the elevator terminal as all of her eyes fixed on me from multiple screens around the room. Cherry and Cliff stood behind me as I edged cautiously towards the largest screen. It's been a very, very long time since I've had to deal with anybody causing me trouble. Bab Seed said as if the fact were both bolstering her resolve and tearing her apart all at once. Nobody I knew, nobody cared enough, she went on, the words seeming to be more of a statement to herself than anybody else. I paused in the middle of the room, watching as the mirror upon the screen rambled as if addressing a vast audience. I know you. You're Bab Seeds, right? I asked. And all of a sudden she stopped, all eyes locking onto me once again. That's right, but I don't know you. How do you know my name? She demanded, her tone becoming firm. I saw you in the memory order. You were with Sweetville the day she came to talk to the factory workforce. I explained. In the realization that crossed face, I realized that if this was not really her, then the computer was a very, very good actor. Several questions seemed to flash across her expression as she thought, her static image flickering like she was some kind of ghost. The dull hum of the machinery all around us began a buzzing growl. Sweetville. Skillet? Apple Bloom? Bab stayed from within the rumbling. Then her images stabilized as she did the sounds. The cueing mark Crusaders? She added. And despite my lack of real information, the desire to not piss off the computer-bound mirror forced me to nod. They abandoned me! She boomed before I could even respond, the machinery roaring as she did so. For a moment, I was afraid that the giant image of her would step out of the screen and swash us all like insects. I stepped back towards the others as her image glowed in angry red. Apple Bloom and Little Club? I thought they were my friends, but apparently that only counted when we were fillies. She ran on, her image flickering between the mirror I had seen and that of a very similar looking I filly curled up in tears. The machinery sound became a spark-spitting growl, and I noticed that the tank I assumed was holding her brain flashed a red hue, like some kind of alarm. Think Dragonfire. If you wait here any longer, those damn brain monsters will find you, or you'll just kill you yourself. I knew that if we want to get out, then I need to calm her down. No, nobody abandoned you, I stated, bringing the goddess that I was right. Her image stabilized again as to the whole factory back to a dull home. Yet her eyes still burned with the pain of the accused's betrayal. How would you know? What happened to us? I don't know yet, she demanded. I fought for the words as she regarded me with a glare that looked as if I could cut steel. For all I knew, it really could. And then glanced at the dusty old skeleton upon the table. Apple Bloom. She's her cousin, right? She didn't abandon you. She gave you all of this. She saved you. I improvised, with no idea what effects my stuttering would have. Bessie didn't even consider that as she glared. Then that stag buzz rose once again. Don't you dare talk to me about me and her. She never even made an effort to come find me out here, she said. Once again, I was lost for a response as my mind dug through that memory I'd seen the Babs and Sweetville. And she didn't save me. She didn't save any pony, Babs added, then her eyes focused upon myself. Before I could respond, the sound of stag emanated from amidst my weapons as I looked back to hear one of the other recordings suddenly begin to play from her book. Apple Bloom? God, sis. I have no idea if this is reaching you. If y'all are getting this, something just hit Desert Springs. I have no idea whether it was direct. Everything is going to hell outside. They're around, all the workers have run off. It rained. This random green stuff, I don't know, was just... Like, if you're getting this, you need to get out of Philadelphia. You need to get as far away from the AC as you can. I'm going to make my way across the state to the stable. I know it's not the one I was designated to. They have to let me in, right? Yeah, I told them that, right? Voice cut off with a buzz. They glanced up at the screen as I pulled her pit buck from my bags and suspended it before me. Yeah, her eyes did not move anywhere other than the flip eyes continuing to play its message. They were right. The naysayers. Those stray planes sitting about town with the darn billboards, they were alright. Fire in the desert. It was a zebra missile. The moment I tried to get outside, planes just wouldn't stop screaming. It was the rain. I think it was burning them. I got back inside before I got covered in too much. I still think it was too much. My bug's telling me steadily. Look, I guess what I'm trying to say is I ain't getting to that stable. I'm on my way to the factory's lower levels. Hopefully I'll be safe down there. I just can't believe this. It's all over. Once again, bats flickering. Red gaze was unrelenting as the second recording stopped, and as expected the third soon followed. The moment I heard her weak voice, my heart went cold. Damn, who am I kidding? I know I'm gonna die down here. The whole of Equestria is dead. I know. I should have taken your advice, 'cause I knew it. With Swee's going missing and all. I should have just listened. I just hope you made it. Not heard anything from Philadelphia. I hope Sweet and Scoots are fine too. That just leaves... I hate this! The sound of metal banging filled the air as I could only assume she began to smash up the room in anger. Why don't I ever listen? I never listened to advice about them bullies. Never about growing up. Never about this damn stupid job. She sounded again and again until her strength finally left her. Then there was a thud, a clatter, and the fed coughs and exhausted breaths. I know this is all silly now, but I hope you get this. I hope you come find me. Before she could say another word, a loud sack filled the recording, followed by what I can only describe as an ear-rending boom. I staggered in pain, gritting my teeth as I dropped the pit buck. The screens around me flickered. The even trained club had to cover their ears before an unnatural sound finally subsided. The sound that replaced it was a set of sharp gasps and raspy breaths. Something just happened. It's gone. Everything's gone. The city. It's angry and I can't see. Cause wherever you are, why ain't you here? Why ain't you come to save me? Words are perforated by another set of loud clangs and thuds as the blind mare seemed to stagger her way around, grunting and growling menacingly. I can see I'm dying cause I had to get out of my head. The Crusader. I have to use the Crusader. I'm sorry. There's another series of clatters and staggering hoofsteps, and the sound of buttons being pressed haphazardly. User identified. Bab Seed. Sound of mechanical voice. A deep fuzz of stack finally cut off the recording as a fit of screams and mechanical whirl erupted from the pit buck. I staggered back from the pit buck as if the thing were toxic. She abandoned me. They all did. All that time of avoiding me, she didn't have the decency to save me. Bass boomed, her voice wrapped in the same stack that had overwhelmed the recording. I backed up to the others, lost for words. A lot of police died that day, Cherry suddenly stated, looking directly at the screen even as she shivered. Bass looked at her coldly, red in her eyes, pulsating slightly lower. Yeah, but I bet none of those three did. I bet they never came to save me because they were comfy in stables of their own somewhere. The only one I saw after Big Mac's funeral was Weebill. She didn't even have the dignity to tell me point where she was that day, Bass declared. I swallowed, glancing at the elevator terminal and subtly hooking on my pit buck. Come on, Miracle Pit Buck. There is a time I need you. It's now. Cherry looked about, and it was clear that she was no better equipped to uphold this argument than I was. Bass was a disembodied brain in a jar with some clear abdomen and betrayed issues. Plus, she was almost certainly mad after so many decades of recognized isolation. I could tell by the look on her face she knew what I was doing. She frowned, face flickering and distorting into something akin to a monster. Before I could even think, a bright flash of light struck my side, and the burning pain flared as my scale armor sizzled. I staggered to the floor. Cherry cried my name and Clip jumped back as the newly revealed energy turned swiveled to face them. I don't think y'all are going anywhere. I have been locked down here for centuries, and with these voices and the more opponents that become part of them, the voices hurt us. She explained cryptically as the sound of scuttling metal limbs grew as several of the pipes burst into reveal more hungry, augmented brains. I struggled to stand, chasing a shot on one of Bab's energy turns as both Cherry and Clip were forced to open fire upon the clawing abominations. You are controlling these things! I groaned, as one of the ravenous creatures began to pour out of the pipes. She frowned. Her mouth flickered in sagged as the dull hum began to grow just like with Gina. I knew that those ponies had no idea what they were messing with at the excavation. Sweet was right about that, at least. Whatever and dug up was not natural, she began. I was forced to blast another pair of energy turns as they opened fire and tried to force us towards the oncoming rains. Every day, every pony in the city knew where it was there. It felt wrong. Every piece of magical equipment felt angry with us. When the bombs fell, it finally got out and every pony heard it, dead or alive. She explained then winched as if the mission was painful. Every pony that heard the anger knows the pain, and the only way to soothe it is to spread it across as many minds as possible. Her frown became a cruel, man smile. I would be as cruel as my traitor's cousin if I just abandoned all the minds still linked to me and when Wooded Prey came all too willingly down here. She finished with a slight laugh. Finally, the oncoming swarm motion for Cherry and Cliff to get closer to the elevator. And you think that this is what she'd have wanted? I thought she gave you this place to show how much she really cared? I asked, and her gaze narrowed, eyes flickering red. I'm saving what's left of the pony she failed to help. But everything went and melded with in the city, didn't even let any pony die right. Then keeps us here trapped in our minds, and if I don't find somebody to share it with, I'll torture us forever. She shouted, as if I were the villain for not wanting my mind feasted upon by the brain of the long-dead pony. I sent a bolt of magical energy right in the face of the oncoming horse. In the same instant, cold tendrils of another wrapped around my rear leg, sharp metal banging at my shoulder as I bowed to kick it off. Fine proves y'all are no more willing to save these ponies than any of the so-called crusaders were. Perhaps went on as a shot from responsibility blasted the brain wrapped around my rear leg into slimy gray gore. And what about all the ponies she did save? All those ponies that did get to the stables? I asked, as she frowned. They were never safe. Just another thing she lied to me about before the end. I know what she and the others all plan to do once they have ponies sealed away inside. Great, she knows about the Iron Death tombs and all the messed up experiments, reminded Hunter dryly. Well, there goes that line of reason. And what about you? The rest saw in the memory didn't seem like some ponies that could do this, I expressed, hoping that the brief recollection I had of her was enough to uphold belief despite my hatred of most pre-war ponies. It didn't seem to matter, she scoffed, raising a hoof to the side of the screen and tapping it against the glass as if it was just as real to her on the other side. That mare died with the rest of Equestria. And my friend's loyalty! She shouted, screen flashing red with static as the sounds about her voice boomed like thunder. Not that it even matters anymore. Y'all know the anger under the sea soon. Y'all see what monsters it takes. She added, and at that, I pointed my blaster right at her brain. Her eyes widened, then locked onto me as a set of metal shutters closed over the brain case and another set of beam turrets open fired, stealing my attention away from her weakness. That was only half of my problems, however. And as if I were a beacon, the swarming massive claws and brains all converged upon me like a ravenous carpet. The sharp tendrils coiled around all four of my legs, descending into my back as they began to pound on top of me. No way to kill so many opponents. With the sensation of the main clawed coils slowly dragging me down, I tried to kick out as hard as I could. Yeah, it was a futile gesture. and the weight of the brain swiftly began to overwhelm me as they crawled over my back and towards my head. Right now, the only thing keeping me from the same fate as Sheena was my armor. The grinding of small teeth told me that it wouldn't last long. I managed one look up at the large screen as Bab's smile became a somewhat solemn frown. And for a moment it looked as if some distant part of her really didn't want to do this. Yet our mind was hardly a stable place anymore. With another flicker that maniacal smile returned. Then there was a sudden flash upon the screen, and all of a sudden a wall of random gibberish and scrawled text flashed over her face. The red glowing in her eyes momentarily turned green as the words were written into existence before her. Foreign program accepted. Equestria robotics service code 249 overruled. Prototype Equestria mainframe Alpha 4 user designation. Equestria robotics executive Bab Seed user overruled.
What? No, what is this? What did you do? I can't see. Please, no, not again.
Bab suddenly cried out, her eyes glowing green as she frantically looked up at the darkness of the screen around her as if blinded. In the same instant, there was a sharp burst of static and the image of her distorted. The metal covering her brain flung open, the beam turns that once sought to pin us in place to be feasted upon. Now it turned and began to fire into the swarm of augmented brains. I felt the horrors eating through my armor blasted away by the magical energy. Seconds later, the ones around my legs were turned into dust or pulpy green mash as the turns miraculously set me free. I took a deep breath of relief, only now able to fully realize how terrified I had been as adrenaline coursed through me. Behind me, I could hear the others calling out. In the whirlwind silence, I tore my cell blaster away from the coiling tendrils of the swarm and leveled a shot at the exposed brain jar. I'm sorry, I whispered as SATS picked out her brain and I fired. I'm sorry. I only kill monsters. The bright flash, the tank shattered, pouring foul liquids and spraying shards of glass out over the table and the skeleton below. The room filled with a horrifying electrical shriek that resonated from each ray as they began to explode into sickly mush. As they did so, I felt a few grilling tendrils slip away from my limbs and the teeth loosen on my back. Yet my eyes became focused upon the screen above, below which a bloodied brain hung like a limp corpse from several wires. A soft vapor filled the chamber, punctuated by sharp static and fading fast. Upon the image the angry red eye man replaced by that of a tiny brown filly, shriveled up and crying.
Sorry, 'cause I ain't even a worthy crusader.
Her voice dissolved into a low rumble of drawn-out static. The image flashed and flickered. Like some pony hitting the off-button on the terminal, it flashed brightly and went completely black. Foreign program accepted. Equestrian robotics service code 249 overruled. Cargo elevator 04 activated. Have a nice day. Flashed on the screen. Then there was a loud shunt and a roaring sound as the large platform began to descend down towards us. I looked up at the screen as those words faded. They moved over to Bab's dusty bones. There was no joy. A sharp relief in my mind faded as I looked down at the lifeless bones and placed a hoof on the surgical table beside her head. Rest easy, I whispered as I levitated her old pit back to lay beside her. Nobody said a word to me as the elevator slowly ascended back towards surface. Above the roar of the storm became more apparent. But despite the mechanical grinding of the elevator, my aching limbs, churning gut, and bloody scars, I made no effort to take out one of our last healing potions. I wasn't sure how many cherry I found in the milk room, nor how many we need to get through Crimson. So until I knew every pony was safe, I believed myself to be taken care of last. Even so, Cherry was looking at me nervously. It was clear where her concerns lay. Cliff was shut down, rubbing his bandaged limbs and wincing at the pain. My whole sense of morality had been thrown into as much of a spin as my stomach. Did I just kill a monster, or simply delivered mercy to a broken mare who lost her mind long ago? I didn't really want to think about it, but neglecting the idea only made me feel more wrong. All I did know was that I'd saved my friends from a fate that sounded worse than death. leaving us tormented brains in charge to feeding us somebody else's mind. As for the supposed unnatural anger that had driven her to do such things, I can only assume it had something to do with the rage affecting the raiders. Clearly, whatever had been found in the city was something that had never been understood. Yet to bring to life and armor your brains? I had a feeling whatever mainframe Babs had been put into had at least something to do with them reanimating. The idea that I destroyed the minds of all those ponies along with her only made my remorse stronger. Then there was my miracle pit bug. But despite my instincts, the less I thought about that right now, the better.
Dragonfire?
King Cherry's cautious voice. I glanced back to see her looking at me. Finn looked up from his bloody bandages at her words. I'm alright, Cherry. I told her in anticipation for her next words. To my surprise, however, she shook her head.
You're not, are you?
She said bluntly, and I felt that deep hole inside me become even more inviting. I lowered my gaze. Sighing as I looked at the ragged rips and tears the brains made on my armor. Can we just get back to the others? I asked. She moved over toward me.
Thank you.
She said simply. And then, despite the guilt, her words and eye inspired me. I looked up at her with wide eyes, like some timid fool would after a horrifying nightmare.
Thanks for not lying to me again.
She added. And in an instant, it was pretty clear she'd known something was wrong with me for a while. If that was true, then what does so violently lying to her for all that time makes me look like? Before I could think too hard on that, however, Jerry continued to speak.
Dan, well, I never had known what to do without you. And after what Gina said,
She trailed off, her own eyes shivering. I stood as straight as my quivering legs would allow. She was wrong. I think everyone has been wrong with you. I was wrong to lie to you. I told her, the idea both a welcome distraction and heartwarmingly sincere. She nodded, wiping her muzzle with the hoof as the elevator ground to a hall in the midst of a scrap-strewn warehouse. Rain streaked down from the shattered glass roof, and the pool of rust-filled bars sat amidst the mountains of Sharpeville.
come on, we can get back to Sky through the east warehouses,
Clip told us, standing and slowly walking from the platform. Before he could make it more than a few steps, however, his legs bucked and threatened to fall from under him. Without a thought, I set him up in my matching and placed him upon my back, wincing at the pain as his weight pressed down upon my bruised hide. You can't go too far in those legs. Just tell me the way, I stated weakly, trying to put on my best, loving, responsible adult voice. While seemingly reluctant to admit I was right about his wounded limbs, he nodded and pointed to an exit.
that way. We used the ventilation to get by the refinery before, but you two will have to go through it the normal way,
he explained. I nodded before leading on. I just really hoped the wasteland had no more surprises up its sleeves. I hadn't even entered Crimson, my mind was teetering on the precise of an abyss I'd only ever fallen into once before. Terrifying thoughts fell into that dark pit again. I would not come out of the depressing darkness a second time.